So the ego is like a danger detector, and it is programmed to warn you of all the potential threats. The more you have been through dangerous situations in your life, the more sensitive this danger detector becomes. But the more sensitive this danger detector becomes, the more it is imagining all the potential threats that could come. And when there's an imagined threat in the mind's eye, then this detector is detecting that threat in the mind, thinking that it's real. So it's a never-ending cycle, actually, because it is imagining all the threats all the time, and then it's detecting all the imagined threats, and it's trying to eliminate them. So you can sit in your comfortable bed and you can feel like you are a hero on a journey to eliminate all the fears when in actuality there's just this comfortable bed. But the ego is not your enemy. It's actually trying to help you. It's just afraid. You know, it's detecting all the potential threats because it thinks that it can at some point get rid of all the dangers in the world. And when that's done, it can finally relax. But that will never happen because it needs danger in order to sustain its own life. So it's imagining the threat when it's not even there. It's a never-ending cycle. But all it wants is peace, but it doesn't know how to be at peace because it's only there to detect danger, and if there's no danger, then it's unemployed, and it doesn't want to be unemployed. But when you are in this thought loop, and it feels like, you know, when you are in ego, it feels like you're in this contracted sphere of energy. It's like always here, and when you are looking at trees or something beautiful like a sunset, you cannot really see the sunset because you're thinking about something and you're stuck in that. Because you're trying to figure out how to avoid the problem, how to solve the problem. And most of the time the problem is life. And Osho said life is not a problem to be solved. But the ego needs that in order to sustain its own life. But energetically it feels like a contracted ball. It's like a sphere, and it's here, it's like, or here in the chest. And it's like an addiction because it does not want to let go of that, because it thinks it's on a journey to save the world or save itself. It's like me and my dramatic storyline. It's too epic. I don't care about how painful it is. I want to have this happy end, but there's no happy end. There's just death at some point. So when I had my first awakening, I cannot remember how many years ago, maybe 7 years. I was in a bus and I was in a shitty life circumstance, and I was afraid, and I was in this extreme tense contracted energy sphere. But I was listening to a song and the lyrics were "open up, let some light in," and something in me just gave up. And I'm recording this video because I want to give you a glimpse of what I have experienced there, because that was my first glimpse, actually. I think that was my first glimpse, or one of my first glimpses. So he said, "Open up, let some light in." It's like this fear opened up immediately, and I gave up. So there were just all these thoughts, feelings, and sensations and circumstances that felt like they were going through me. But I'm not doing anything about them. I'm not detecting them, trying to solve them, or trying to find a solution for every single thing that's happening. It's just I'm open up. And you can try it actually. Tell yourself, or say it to this fear, open up. There's nothing to be afraid of. You don't have to detect all the dangers right now. There's like an opening. And you can relax into that. Because when you can finally allow yourself to no longer detect everything that you consider to be a danger, then you can finally relax into the moment and recognize your true self, which is already open actually. It's like that there's this illusion that there is a contracted sphere which is called ego, and then it's opening up, but it's not becoming a bigger sphere, it's becoming the infinite. And you will recognize that it was never anything else than the infinite. It's always what you are. You're always infinite. There's an opening and a relaxation. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to understand anything, to detect anything. Notice how every attempt to detect danger is something that happens in that infinite sphere. We can call that awareness. When you are resting in that awareness, for a few minutes perhaps, and you're coming back into so-called normal reality, what can happen is that the ego can come back thinking that it is needed to navigate through life. It's like everything is a danger again, everything is dangerous. I have to navigate, detect, solve, and create the danger so that it can sustain its own life. But that will become weaker and weaker. It's like, my nervous system was damaged. And I'm not saying that it's perfectly healed, but simply resting in that open awareness, which is what you are, is really the most effective way to heal that nervous system, because the ego is directly linked to the nervous system. You can notice it when you are thinking about something dangerous and you have fear. You can feel it in your nervous system actually. But when you are letting go, you're not waiting for a happy end. You just say end that, and open up and let some light in. And you feel this instant relaxation in your nervous system, and you're not even you don't need to understand anything. It's like sometimes this ego is so caught up in trying to figure out awakening. How can I finally see Brahman? How can I finally awaken? How does it work? So it's just open yourself up and relax. And you're just here. So there's nothing you have to change about this current moment. Whenever you notice that you are trying to figure out something and it feels like there's fear, feels like you are stuck in that contracted sphere again, notice how you don't have to change anything because that openness is already here. And that contracted sphere is happening in that openness. A lot of spiritual teachers are talking about the oneness of the heart or the opening of the heart, because it can truly feel like, this contracted energy feels like it's a tightness in the heart region, but when you're opening up, it's like something's letting go in that area. And there's just infinite being and acceptance, peace and relaxation. But do not focus on my words. Do not try to memorize what I'm saying. Really, my words are just noises that are happening in that open space. It's about that open space. It's about recognizing that this is already there and it's home. When you're trying to figure out something, solve something, think about something, like you are in this endless thought loop, and notice it and open up. It is really beautiful when you are sitting or lying down in the most comfortable way possible and you're listening to some, your favorite meditation music or your favorite music in general. Maybe not heavy metal, but if that's your thing, if that's your way to meditate, then do that. But I prefer some meditation music, and I'm just sitting down in the most comfortable way possible, and it's just an opening there, and it feels like some trust is required to, when the danger detector thinks that it's needed to survive, then it seems like there's this trust that is required to just let go, trust that you're not gonna die without that detector. And when that happens, and there's just this natural love. In which you don't have to be someone, you don't have to understand something, you don't have to justify your existence. You know, when someone wants you to justify what you have done, you're just like and you're just, yeah, let me relax, man. I don't want to justify myself. It's just so that's freedom. All right.